This is Seasons of Discontent with your hosts Rick Snyder and Matt Combs.
Welcome to Seasons of Discontent, Season 11, Episode 13, brought to you by Rick Snyder's Washington across social media. And I'm Rick Snyder.
I'm Matt.
And we're back discussing all things Washington, including the Commanders. So please like, share, subscribe, comment on and thanks button on YouTube. And if you're watching elsewhere, I don't know, send us money. So right away, we always pick the game. Washington is plus 6.5. I am saying Washington 34, Baltimore 31.
Is that straight up or are you picking with the spread?
Well, I'm getting the dog anyway.
Yeah, I guess you are.
So I'm going with an upset there.
Wow, 34-31. Okay.
I think, look at Baltimore. When their score was in the 30s last week.
It was 38-35 Cincinnati, them over Cincinnati, and they went to overtime.
Yeah, so I think both sides just score. It should be a good game to watch.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a shootout, and it's whatever team doesn't make a mistake is going to probably come out on top. I can't come up with a prediction on a score. I'll just go Baltimore. I think Baltimore comes out victorious just because they're at home. This is the first real big test for this team. Baltimore is a Super Bowl favorite. They were a preseason Super Bowl favorite going into this, especially after they signed Derrick Henry. They're not really hitting all that much yet in their stride like they normally do, but they're still a very dangerous team. I'll go Ravens. I'll go Ravens 34-30.
Yeah. I haven't been to a Ravens game in quite a while, so I'm not sure what their atmosphere is, but I will say there's a lot of Washington fans who thought, hey, we'll go up to Baltimore and watch the game. And I thought, no, Ravens sell out. And they don't pretty much give up their tickets. So I hear everybody yelling it's $400 for a ticket in Baltimore, where, FedEx, you got $10, you got a seat. A lot of years.
This is definitely a marquee game. NBC tried to flex this and CBS said no.
Yeah, I saw it. But, the visiting team usually gets the network, so it should have been Fox. But because the AFC has a lot of smaller market teams than the NFC, they do things like this to set, kind of equal it out. So that's why it's a CBS game, which I would rather it be a Fox game.
Yeah.
On there. But
are we going to get Romo and Nance? I mean, are they going to call a 1:00 game?
I don't know. I was kind of wondering about all that too. I don't really pay much. Half the time I'm at the game, so I don't see anything else. And the other half, I'm usually watching this game. So,
You're not going to Baltimore, are you?
Say what?
You're not going to Baltimore, are you?
No.
I wouldn't either.
I don't get paid to travel, so I don't go. I've been everywhere a million times, so not to that. Now, if so I'd be interested to see the atmosphere in Washington this past week. They even did the wave. I hadn't seen the wave in years.
Yeah, right. The whole stadium.
Probably because they're sitting empty seats, the wave would die in certain sections, or the opposing team wouldn't do it because they're so jerks. So, it was kind of interesting. The town's cautiously lit, but if they beat Baltimore, man, people are getting ready for the parades. It's going to be.
Hey, they got me to buy it. They got me to buy a shirt. Courtesy. I bought this. I paid for this right on Breaking Tea.
What'd you pay?
I'm not going to tell you that. You can go on breakingtea.com and see the price.
I don't even know what that is. But
I don't even know. Breaking Tea's nice. That's who made the shirt I had that went popular a couple years ago where it said Washington football. I'm tired of this S.
Well, I know just for regular t-shirts, it's probably like $30 now.
Yeah, it was about $30, I'd say. But no, I like Breaking Tea because they do team and city specific t-shirts. So, the I Survived the Snyder era, I believe, was from Breaking Tea.
Well, one thing I saw today, and I don't know if it was a fake or not, which they had a Jaden Daniels on a throwback jersey, which is the Redskins jersey, and it had the Redskins logo patch on the shoulder. And I thought, I wonder if this is an NFL jersey or just an outlaw thing.
That was a McNabb jersey that somebody took to a seamstress and put Daniels on the back. Because those jerseys, the name is just a plate. Like you can take the whole plate off and you could put whoever you want on the back. I'm sure that's what it was.
Yeah, I'd say, because no way they're putting that logo on a jersey. I don't want to hear that stuff.
No, you can buy Redskins jerseys of Redskins players from a company called Mitchell and Ness because they have the legacy stuff. They've got Oilers stuff, they've got all the old teams gear. Anybody that's retired, they have their gear. So you can buy the Redskins stuff from them. You can't buy hats. I think you can only buy jerseys. But yeah, no, that was either a McNabb #5 or it was, if you're like me and bought a Colt Brennan #5 jersey, maybe it was that.
Or maybe it was a Heath Schuler jersey. I think
Could have been a Heath. Well, no, was it screen printed?
I don't know. You look
remember back in the day, those jerseys were screen printed.
Weird. But right now, if they had the playoffs, right now the Commanders would be the #2 seed and would face Dallas. So
it's week 6 and we're talking playoffs, Rick. Come on. I'm about to give you the Jim Mora.
But they could knock Dallas out of the playoffs under this scenario. How sweet. I mean,
that would be sweet.
Not an NFC championship win like the 2 earlier years ago, but yeah, it was kind of cool. Do you think Baltimore has a rivalry with Washington? I've worked in both towns too. I always tell people Baltimoreans don't like Washingtonians. They see them as, it's a blue collar city in Baltimore, a white collar city in DC. And I've heard it over and over, especially when I covered horse racing. They just look down on DC being, rich guys. Whereas Washingtonians, if you ask them about Baltimore, really don't have anything to say about it, and nothing negative.
Well, so, I know for a fact that Baltimore people root for the DC hockey team. There's a lot of Baltimore fans that root for the Caps that come down and go to games, but I think it's more of a rivalry in baseball just because of what Angelos did by trying to block the Nationals from coming, and then the Masson TV deal has been a debacle, and it's prevented the Nationals from being sold, and yada, yada, yada. Now, obviously, Angelos has passed, so maybe some of that will get cleared up. But, yeah, I think the more of the rivalry is between the Orioles and the Nationals, and they only play each other 4 times a season.
And we did steal the Wiz from them. They could have it back.
We did.
Matter of fact, I have a Wiz note here. I got my first Wizards, press release that they put out every day for the next 150 days. And it said injury update. I thought,
I saw that. It was on the crawl on ESPN, and I'm like, who is this? I've never heard of this guy.
I know, but that was the first one I get as injury report. I thought, okay, we're back with the Wizards all of a sudden.
Hey, look, the White Sox only won 40-some games or 50-some games this year. The Wiz might be competing for that worst loss record in the NBA history. I can't name you one player besides Kyle Kuzma.
I know it's hard. I tried to give up. I've watched the Wiz when they moved to Washington from Baltimore. It's either 72 or 73, and then they started the Caps the next year. The first year they came from Baltimore as the Bullets. They played at University of Maryland for a year because the arena wasn't ready. And so Baltimoreans were pretty upset because they had a pretty good tradition with Baltimore up there. But and it sucks to be you. What can I tell you? One thing I don't want to hear is just battle of the beltways, which the stupid TV people would do. First off, they don't intersect in any kind of way.
No, they don't. They're both just called beltways.
Yeah, they're like 40, I don't know if they're 40 miles apart. Cities are, but the beltways are probably 30. And it takes 2 hours if you don't live here to take one to the other. Yeah. We might have them, in the mountains. I just don't find that factor. But the weirdest part used to be when they were the Colts and Redskins, they did because they played each other pretty much every year in a smaller NFL. And I looked at it one time. The only, in the 60s, they played in the preseason and the regular season every year. And Baltimore won every single game in the 60s because Washington wasn't very good and the Colts were great.
Well, hey, who broke the Ravens preseason streak?
Yeah, that was a great game too.
It was a great game.
Maybe
Baltimore might be a little pissed going into this.
I saw that. I remember telling John Kine, we were heading downstairs. I said, that was the best preseason game I ever saw. And I thought he'd scoff at me, but he's like, yeah. And Troy Aikman just said it on TV, and they were out. The third stringers were into that one. Mm-hmm. So there's a little payback for that, I guess. I don't know how.
You want to talk about? I want to talk about something real quick. I'm going to divert. You talked about the Wizards. It's so funny to me because that was the team that Leonsis wanted. Leonsis just bought the Capitals because the Poland family wasn't ready to sell the Wizards because Abe was still alive. and the Capitals have ended up being the better team of the two. You would think that Leonis would be pumping some capital into the Wizards to try and get them competitive. But now, I made this tweet today, and do you know how nice it is to finally sit back as a fan of the Washington football team and not have the league looking at how much of a mess you are? The Jets fired Robert Salahi because Aaron Rodgers told him to. The Browns cannot bench Deshaun Watson because the owner won't let him. And then there was a third one. I can't even remember what the third one that I said was. Oh, the Panthers. David Tepper's an idiot and a complete clown show. I mean, they traded all that draft capital to get Bryce Young, and then now they've benched him a season and 2 games into his career. It's just so nice to have Harris and Magic and Rails and all these guys that they're out on the field, they're shaking hands, they're kissing babies, we're winning games, they're letting Quinn and Peters run the team. I mean, it's just so nice to sit back and have an ownership group that acts like a bunch of adults.
Yeah, and there's no controversies, and they're winning games. I mean, man, what happened?
I don't know.
Feel like it's been an alternate life again, after what happened before. I remember once in I guess the 80s or somewhere in there, I was sitting next to a Cincinnati reporter. Washington beat Cincinnati. This guy, he wrote his game story, and he told the office, hey, I'm going to go have dinner and a couple of drinks. I'll send in the rest later. And I thought, man, it must really suck to cover a crummy team. Well, Freaky Friday breaks out, and suddenly I'm the one that's caught in this crap.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice. I stuck around this long because I wanted to see a change. And it's happened. Now I'd like to stick around and watch the change, but, whatever. Life moves on this. It's just, I know what it's like to cover a Super Bowl team. And, that's a different Washington in a way. 30 years ago, 40 years ago, Washington's a different city. But I see the fans all coming back, the bandwagon full. Like when they played the Browns, suddenly that stadium of 60,000 people is about 90% Washington fans. Well,
they were loud too.
Where did they come from? Because they haven't been around forever. The Browns didn't bring anybody because they suck anyway. And, it's like you said, we'll see what happens when Dallas and Philly come to town.
Yeah, and the Steelers. I think the Steelers are coming here too this year. So
are Washington going to keep their tickets now because they want to watch the game? Although there isn't that many season tickets. But the key is, Dan Snyder cut a deal for basically the half of the stadium behind the visitors' bench. He sold them to ticket brokers. Mm-hmm. And Harris is trying to break that whole thing and sell them to locals. So that's why you're seeing a difference there too. Mm-hmm. On it. They just didn't have hardly anything for season ticket basis. Snyder just discounted them out to the other guy. I mean, Snyder had so much money problems the last few years that we're just now really realizing everything. It's just shocking. And
I think what it really boils down to is, Rick, I know me as a fan, I didn't want to give him any money.
Right.
That was the team I loved, and I watched him destroy this team. That was the team that I didn't want to put any money in Dan Snyder's pocket, even though I knew that the money would hopefully go towards the team that I rooted for. But, I didn't want to give him the money. Josh Harris and Magic and Mitchell Rails and all Mark Ein and all these guys, I don't mind giving them my money to go to the stadium because they're making improvements. Look, we both talked about it. Northwest Field, formerly FedEx Field, it's a turd that you can shine a turd, but it's still a turd down to its bones. But at the end of the day, we're hoping that they all end back at RFK. And they're the way. I'm sorry, but I know there's a lot of political crap that I don't care about to get them to RFK Stadium, but the majority of what can get them back into DC is a winning product. And we've seen them put a winning product on the field so far, and winning solves a lot of issues. It's going to solve, look, everybody still gives the argument, because the Chiefs were on Monday Night Football Monday. You got a guy wearing a headdress, and you got the fans doing the tomahawk chop, and they're still called the Chiefs, and there's all this Native American imagery. Well, the point of it is the Chiefs are winners. The Chiefs have won 3 out of 4 Super Bowls. You can look past the quote unquote racism. That was the problem with the Washington Redskins. They were losers and everybody hated Dan Snyder. So what do you do in order to get more money away from him and to force him to sell the team? Change the name.
Yeah, and they Chiefs don't have a scandal going on that they traded the name to Quest, which didn't work anyway.
Yeah.
That all happened. So
Yeah, and that was another thing too. That was Snyder throwing his hands up and trying to throw a sacrificial lamb out there and say, "Fine, I'll change the name if you guys back off and don't worry about all the cheerleaders that I've been videotaping while they're in their locker room and stuff like that." It's like the Wizard of Oz. Hey, pay attention to this over here. Don't look at the man behind the curtain.
Yeah,
It didn't work, but
I can't say the number because I haven't verified it, but I have pretty good info on how bad the season ticket base went. I'll just tell you, take the number you think, divide by 3, and that number. Like, wow. So now that people are willing to spend some of the money, and it's cheaper now because trust me, when that new stadium does show up one day, you can add another 0 to things. It's, you don't build $2 billion and not have to increase prices, everything. So enjoy the cheap tickets while you can. Because you can get in for. I wouldn't know why anybody would buy season tickets when you can buy them on the market for under face value. So why pay it? You have to sit somewhere different every time, but who cares? On there, you can sit upstairs and spread out across the thing. But now they're starting to get people in there, and the suite area I've been in a few times in the past season. It's like a whole different world in there. It's just crazy partying.
Well, and the improvements that they've made to the club level, I mean, they've definitely made a lot of improvements. They're bringing in restaurants that people want to go to. They're bringing in, special drinks and stuff like that to the club level. They're making improvements slowly but surely. Like I said, I mean, you're shining a turd at this point. You've got to make the turd livable for a couple more seasons until you figure out what you're going to do with your new stadium. So you got to make it habitable. But yeah, I mean, it's just I just kind of thought about that today. It's like, man, it's so nice to not have to worry about how crappy our owner is, and that's the thing. Jay Gruden wearing with the woman with the "I survived the Snyder era" shirt. That goes for more than just the players, the coaches, and everything else. It's for the team. The fans of the team. We had to deal with it too. We just didn't know how bad it was at the time.
Yeah, pretty soon the team will be wearing it. "I survived Snyder," but they'll change the spelling of the name. Jerks.
Yeah.
But
SNIDER?
I will say that one thing I've noticed is they have on the concourse, they have these stores where you like walk in to get food. You have to scan something. I haven't quite figured out how this works. You scan something, go in, open up the cases, take what you want, scan when you walk out. And I noticed that in airports around.
The QR code on your phone, if I'm not mistaken.
I wondered how in the world, because somebody told me, it's actually being slower because the old people don't know how to do this. I thought, I don't know how to do this. How's this work? Someone's got to show me.
Yeah, I think you have to download an app and it has a QR code on it. It knows what you bought based off of, I guess, I don't know how that all works, but yeah, I've seen those before. Now you're talking about concessions. You've got something very right up my alley that I want to talk about. So hit me with it.
All right.
With this question, please.
I thought I'd throw this one out there. All right. Are boneless chicken still wings?
No. It's a sauce covered chicken nugget.
Yeah.
You can buy them at Wendy's. They're called saucy nugs.
Yeah. I laughed because I hear people all the time go, "We have boneless wings." And I thought, that's a chicken nugget. So, I'm not a big one of the buffalo thing. I try.
Don't get me wrong. I love buffalo wings. I'll eat the heck out of some boneless buffalo wings, but no, it is a chicken wing. I mean, it's a chicken nugget.
Does anybody still go to Hooters for wings and all?
My dad took my little cousin who turned 12 to Hooters for his birthday when we were in Myrtle Beach, and he walked in there and was about as red as Jana Daniels' helmet on right behind me. He was embarrassed.
I've only been twice, and I don't know. I see girls wearing less on the street than those uniforms. They're not going.
Yeah.
On it, but yeah, okay. So we got that clear. So, folks, it's not boneless wings. I see it every time I see a commercial. I'm like, oh God, it is.
Yeah, because our Applebee's, they sponsor. You're seeing it during NFL games.
Yeah.
Oh, they have like 50-cent boneless wings or whatever.
I did go see Jack in the Box when I was in Las Vegas. I don't know if I talked about that.
You did.
Okay, so it's a nice Wendy's. But they have some tacos too.
Yeah, they do have tacos. Their tacos are good.
No, tacos are great at 2 a.m. when you're drunk.
Oh, you know what? You ever had a Sheets taco?
No.
Sheets, you can get 3 tacos. They're amazing.
Well, they're building the Sheets in near where I live, and they're building
Nice.
Royal Farms down the street too. And
Oh, ooh, you're gonna go get some of that Chesapeake chicken.
yeah, my wife said that'll be the emergency place for food because I've eaten in Royal Farms. That's a Baltimore kind of thing. Come to Southern Maryland now.
Mm-hmm.
They're building one like half a mile from my house.
Nothing
So
beat the Wawa hoagie, and I know you got one of those real close.
I go, yeah, that's across the street from the Royal Farms. So
And so you're gonna have the gas station trifecta all within a couple steps from each other.
yeah, and plus
Wawa, Royal Farms, and Sheets. Damn, I need to move down there.
yeah, because we'll have Royal Farms across the street from Wawa. In that intersection, the third corner is a Shell station.
Yeah, which has a Subway in it.
Yeah, a Subway, and then you go about I don't know less than a mile, and they're going to build a Sheets, and they're building other stuff too, and they're building a Aldi's, and they're building a Chick-fil-A, which I know nobody out there cares about, but I'm not a big Chick-fil-A guy either. Great service,
Not either. It's excellent service, but it's just regular chicken to me.
yeah. So and we got pretty much every single fast food place in between, and we don't have anything else really.
Mm.
I live in a town of like I don't know, it's 1,000 people or something. If it's that,
You need a Five Guys.
I live in the crossroads of Southern Maryland now. So, Five Guys still rules. For all of you out there, now that I've been to Jack in the Box, I've been to Whataburger, and I've been in and out. There's 3 below. Five Guys kicks them every day to the street.
Five Guys, and that's the thing. The smash burger has become the new hot burger. And I'm sorry, but the first time I ever had one was at a Five Guys.
And we have a Raising Cane now here near us.
The sauce is the best part of Raising Cane's.
But you go there and it's like, okay, we have 3 things. 1 chicken tender, you can have it with 2 chicken tenders, or 3 chicken tenders.
Oh, they do have a chicken sandwich where they put the chicken tenders on a piece of bread.
Seriously, that's it, man. God. And usually these places, their fries aren't very good.
No, the fries are okay. I like the crinkle cut fries at Cane's.
I've only eaten there once. I just go to Arby's or whatever and be done. Go to Roy's. All these places that pretend they know something.
All right, on that note, I'm hungry. I need to go eat dinner.
Yeah. All right. There you go. Well, I guess it's time to go. I'm Rick Snyder.
Yeah, trust me, we don't need my stomach vibrating the whole rest of the show.
Yeah, it's not me. It's Matt doing it. No.
Yeah.
All right, we're out of here. Hopefully we'll be back with off another win, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Either way, it should. Hey, look, it's nice to actually cover a winning team for once.
Yeah, that's why we gave you extra podcast time for free.
There you go. All righty.
Yeah, I'm Rick Snyder.
And I'm Matt.
Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Seasons of Discontent with your hosts, Rick Snyder and Matt Combs.